Hello friends, in this exercise we are going to learn embedding of files or object in Excel sheet. Okay, any type of file you can embed in this, that is Word file, PDF file, Excel file. Okay. Here I have created one data bank. In this I have used filter insertion of photograph and resume of each employee is embedded. So here if you filter any person's data, see, suppose you want to go to the data of Simon, then you just click here, and you have all the data available of Simon. This what is his employee number, and also the resume of that person. Okay, okay. Suppose you want to go to see the data of Rakesh. Here you can see like this, a photograph of that person and resume, employee number, name, everything, and the serial number of that employee. So how you can do that, that I will explain you in this. So first of all, I have created one data bank. Here I have used the filter. So here there is a filter is applied. Okay. Now I have inserted one image here. Now this, after insertion of image, see, any you can insert by here. See, any image you can insert here. But after inserting this image, you should select size and properties, and you should select this one, check this one. So what will happen, these photographs will not overlap. You you will not, I mean, suppose you enter, if you want to see the Jack's data, then somebody else photo will not overlap. Okay, similarly you should do that thing here also. Now now how this resume is inserted here, so that is called embedding, that we learn here. For that you should go into object, insert, then object. Now create from file. Here you can create one another file also. In that you can write a data. Here we will go to directly the ready-made file. See, in desktop there is one file is created of resume of all employees. This is the resume folder. Here it is a jack, so you can insert here. Now displays icon, and you can change the icon name. See, like this. See, this happened. Now you should select here. Yes, in this property you should select this one. After doing this, so what will happen, the overlap will not take place. Suppose you select Simon, then resume of Jack will not overlap, and also the photo of that another person will not overlap. So like this way you can embed Excel sheet also here, Excel file also. Sorry, should go in the object, any Excel file in this. You go to test any file, D drive. Okay. Excel file. Insert other icon, change icon. Okay, this is the file. Now you click OK. So this file is embedded here. When you click this, double click on this, the file will automatically open. Okay, and you can view the data in that file. See here also same. See this file is open. So like this way, friends, you can embed any PDF file, Excel file, Word file, any object you can insert, embed here, and you can make your data very beautiful. That's all, friends. Thank you very much. Hello, friends. In this exercise, we are going to learn VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP function. This is a powerful function in Excel. Suppose there is a one data chart is given. This is the big data chart. Now you want to find out the value of 900 against 30-degree temperature, that is 140, right? And at 700 you want to find out the value of 30-degree temperature, that is 97. So that you can find out by only one function, that is called a VLOOKUP. Now see, we will use this one, VLOOKUP. Suppose you want to find out the value against 700. So how to use this function? VLOOKUP. Now which value you want to find out? 700, right? From the which array? This is the table. So select the table and at against which temperature? Suppose say 25-degree temperature. So it is 1, 2 and 3, third column. It is third column and close and enter. So see, we have got the value of 700 at the 25-degree temperature. Similarly, we can get the value. Suppose this is 800. So at 800 it is 110. Again we want to find out the value at 1000. Equal to VLOOKUP. Value is 1000. Table is same. But in this we want to find out the value of 1000 at 40-degree temperature. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That is 6. Okay. That is 186 watt. So this is the use of VLOOKUP function. Now we want to use HLOOKUP function. HLOOKUP function. This is VLOOKUP. Suppose you want to find out the value at 25-degree temperature. Okay. So now use HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP. Now the value is B13. That is B13. Table is same. Okay, and we want to find out from the rear, from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the 5, that is at 800. 25-degree temperature and 800 value. So that is 110. See, that is 110. So at 25 and this fifth row, here in VLOOKUP we were entering uh, columns. Now here in HLOOKUP we need to enter the row. Okay, number of row. Similarly for 40-degree, equal to HLOOKUP. window. This is the array, and suppose we want to find out at 1100, so that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? This is the value we have got. So at 40-degree temperature, the 196 value. So that is all, friends. Use of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Okay, thank you. Hello friends. In this exercise, you are going to learn about hyperlink. This is very powerful tool and save lot of time. You can go to a destination place by just one click. Let's see how to do that. Here in this, you can find the hyperlink here, or you can right click and insert a hyperlink. So here, if I suppose you want to go to visit you Google, so how you have to give the address here. Say Google, and here the name of the hyperlink is visit in caps, visit visit Google. So friends, the hyperlink is created. See, just if I click here, then I will go to directly to Google link. See, it is directly opening in my laptop. Suppose you want to visit the Yahoo, then also you can do like this. Here you write visit Yahoo, https. See, now the hyperlink is created, and if you click here, then automatically you can go to Yahoo. See, Yahoo is open, right? So this is how, friends, just one click you can visit the website. Now suppose you want to go to any file in a folder. So for that you can save your time. Here you can insert the hyperlink, and you want to go to a desktop or in C drive. Suppose I have one file in D drive, and here there is a folder. This I want to see the frame drawings immediately, and what I will write is 11 MBA drawings. Okay, this is the hyperlink I have created. Name is like this. I will make it bigger. Now here if you click, then automatically you will go to the that folder and save a lot of time. So you can create multiple hyperlinks here, and by just clicking one place you can go to a different places. So this will save a lot of time. Now you want to go to in this file only, but in different Excel. Okay, so how you can do that? Suppose here I created one hyperlink. This is a hyperlink. insert, oh sorry, we create insert hyperlink. Hyperlink and place in this document. Okay, now here go to go to look up file. Okay, and the place is A20 and the chart is 3 lookup edge lookup, right? So this is the hyperlink I have created. Now if I click here, I will go to this Excel sheet in the same document at the place of A20. So just let's see, there is A20, right? Suppose I write here exercise. Okay, so again over here. Okay, so this is how we can use hyperlink, friends. That's it. Thank you very much. Hello friends, in this exercise we are going to learn using macros in Microsoft Excel. That is, macros will automate your repetitive work. The work for the task that is repetitive in the Excel can be automated by using macros. So for this we have a small exercise. In this way you can learn how to use macro and assign macro so that your repetitive task becomes very easy. Just with the one key you can do your total complete function. So for this, uh, this is the small exercise, the pressure in kgs per cm square and psi. Now we want to convert the pressure of kg per centimeter square into psi. So for this, first of all, we are going to use the macro. So you have to go to view, then record macro. Okay, then this is, you say, pressure conversion. Say Q control shift Q. Okay, and okay, now okay, now it has started recording. Now whatever we will do, it will be recorded by the Excel macro. So this is equal to this multiplied by 14.22, and this goes to the next cell. Now we will stop the macro here. Okay, now if we press the shortcut key, then the above calculation will done automatically. See, see, all be done by only a shortcut key. Now if we assign a macro to a shortcut, that also we can do. For that you have to go to then shape here, this type of shape you select, then this, you can write conversion. Here you can assign a macro, that is pressure conversion. Okay. Now if we delete this one, okay. Now macro has been assigned, that is which was recorded earlier for pressure conversion. This is assigned here. So now just we click here. See, now if we click here, automatically the process will be done. See, okay. So now everything is done. Now we want to create a one more macro. So for this, again, make a shortcut here, small, and delete. Now what we'll do is we'll select all these. I mean record another macro. Record macro is delete. Here press Control D. Okay. Now macro has started. Now delete this one. Okay. Now stop recording. Okay. So now we will do this one. Now select all and use this. No, not yet. We have not yet assigned the macro here. So now again you have to go here and assign the macro, that is delete. Okay. Now this macro is assigned here. Now if you do here, now select everything and do this, then it is deleted. Now again the cursor will come back here. Similarly, select everything and you will delete macro. So it is deleted. So this way you can create so many macros and the complicated formulas you can record in a macro, and this task will become very simple by just clicking one key, and your work will be very easy. Thank you, friends. Hello friends, in this exercise we are going to learn data validation. What is data validation? That means it is allows you to set up restriction for the value that can be entered into a cell. That is restriction of data entry into a cell. That means you cannot enter other data. Okay, your cell is restricted to enter certain values. So first of all, we will first exercise is restrict data entry to list of values. That means the cell is restricted to list of values. I mean you cannot enter other than list values. So how you can do that? See, this is the cell. Now here this is the list of values. So here if I select here, you see this is drop down list is shown. How you can do that? See, first of all I will delete this and then I will show you how to do that. In other cell we will do data then this data validation. Here you have to select the list of values list, okay, and then you have to select the this is the range, okay, and enter. So now this cell is restricted to take these values only. See, we can highlight it. Now this cell, suppose your diameter is restricted to this values only. So you can enter 5.5, 6, 7 like this. So this is called a restriction of data validation. Now the second exercise. Now you want to restrict your cell to take numerical values only. You cannot enter other than numerical values. So text will not accept. How you can do this? Here in this cell we will do. See here, if I enter the text, see, it is giving a message that you have entered a wrong value. See, if I enter numeric value, then it will accept. How you can do that? This we will do here in this cell. Go to data, then there is a data validation. Now any custom, right? And here it is equal to is number, and the cell is F15. F15. Okay, and here you have to put what is the input message. I mean, when you touch this cell, then it will give the input message. This is numeric value only. Here please enter numeric value. Now what is the error message? Now here you can select warning, information, or stop. Stop means it will not allow you to enter other values. Here you can write sorry, you have entered wrong value, numeric value only. Okay, so this is done. Now here it shows the input message numeric value only. Please enter numeric value. So if we enter the numeric value here, it will accept. If I enter some text like name, so it gives an error message. You have entered wrong value, numeric value only. So this is how the cell is restricted to enter a numeric value only. So this is the second exercise. Now we are going to third exercise. Here this is done. See, I have entered seven text. So it is giving a message. The text must be 6 characters. Suppose if I this is only giving a warning, but if I accept, then it will accept it. See, this is accepted. If I enter six values, 6 characters only, then it will accept. How you can do this? Here, in go to data validation, settings. Here the text length equal to 6. Messages text length LENGTH 6 characters. error messages. Sorry, you have entered wrong value of text. Like this type of message will appear. See, the message is in text and 6 characters. Okay, suppose I enter 3 characters. True. See, you have entered wrong value or text. Okay. Now I enter Ramesh. This accept this. Suppose I enter numeric value here. 1, 2, 3. See, it gives error message. So that means the cell will accept only those value which is restricted, right? So how this is how you can restrict the cell entry. This will be useful in programming. So thank you very much. This is all. Hello friends. In this exercise, we are going to learn conditional formatting. Now, first of all, what is formatting? Formatting means you change the font color, background of the cell, then the cell border, then you make bold, italic, or underline, or font type, that means bold, italic. So this is called formatting of the cell. Now, what is conditional formatting means? Means the formatting is done based on certain condition. That means you change the color, the font color, background, bold, borderline. That is based on the certain condition. That means you want to differentiate the cell from the other cell. Okay, how you can do that? That we will learn in this exercise. For that, you have to go to conditional formatting. Now, in this cell, see, there is a conditions are given. Suppose you select this condition that your cell will highlight if the value is greater than 12, then it will highlight like red field with dark red text. So this one condition we applied when it is greater than 12. Okay, now one more condition we apply. Highlight cell when it is equal to 12, then it shows green field with green text. Okay, when it is 12. And one more condition will apply here. When it is less than 12, when it is less than 12, then it will yellow field with dark yellow text. So three conditions we applied. Okay, now when it is 12, then it is different color, right? When it is more than 12, then it is different color. When it is less than 12, then it is shows different color. So this is how you can apply conditional formatting. Now second, suppose this is the data. Now you want to highlight the data with bars, right? So you can go here, data bars, then see the grid lines are shown. See here color is changing. See like this. Here the grid line is highest when the value is more. So 34, it is the highest value in this data array. So it shows bigger grid line. Like you can apply another conditional formatting like colors. You can change the color. Okay. Then clear rules. Then you can see there is no formatting here. Now, now icon. You can set the icons. See, these icons are based on the certain conditions. See, manage rules. Here, edit rule. You have to go to edit rule. Now, here you see the value is greater than 67. It's percentage. it shows the green value. Value is greater than or equal to 67%. Okay, when it is in between 67 to 33%, it shows yellow arrow inside, but when below 33 it shows red color. So based on that you can change the settings. Suppose this is 50, that also you can do here. Okay, this is apply and okay. Here icon set, you can set the different type of icons in, and you can also change the conditions. See, based on the condition it will show the arrow, right? You can go to more rules also. So this is how you can change. Now clear rules from this save. Now in the next exercise we will apply another different conditional formatting. In this, suppose you have to go to new rules. In this you want to highlight the cell with top two and bottom two with different color. Okay, so for this what you have to do is you have to go to this format only top or bottom ranked values. So suppose you want to highlight two top values with a different color. So for this you have to do top then two values. Okay, and then formatting here. How you want to format? Background color is yellow. No, font color is red, sorry, font color is red. Okay, then border, it should be bold, font type should be bold, border should be like this, and fill is with yellow. Okay, so this you want to apply, right? It will show the top two values of this array will show yellow background and red font color. This condition is applied here. So see, it shows two values of this data values with yellow background and red color. Now you want to change it, one you want to apply more rules. New rule. Now you want to change bottom values, bottom two values of this data, the new formatting. Okay, now you want to do it with, suppose this background is green, fill is green, then font color is black. Okay, it should be bold. Okay, border should be there. Okay, okay, the bottom two values will look like this. Apply and okay. So see, the bottom two values are 6 and 3 are the two bottom values. It is highlighted with a different color. So top two values with this. Even you can select more than two values also or one value also. Okay, now another conditional formatting. In this data, suppose new rules, to apply new rules. In this you want to apply the unique and duplicate values. Now the duplicate values you want to format. So how you want to format? Suppose it should be bold. Okay, then the color should be dark blue. Okay, and background with like this. Border also you want. Okay, so now the duplicate values of this will show like this. See, 24 24 are the duplicate values and 12 are the duplicate values. Okay, now we want to clear the rules, clear from the rules. Okay, now we want to apply another formatting. So new rules. Now duplicate, now unique values, not duplicate, now unique values. Unique values should be, sorry, unique. Formatting will be done like this. Font color, font color should be black and bold. Font color should be black. Border is there and fill is with background is like this. Okay, so okay, unique values will show like this. See all these unique values, and this 12, 12, 24 are the duplicate values. So unique values are shown with the different color. So this is how you can apply any type of conditional formatting. Now we will go to next exercise. In this, these are the data values and there is an average of 35. Now you want to highlight this data with above average and below average values. So in this you have to go like this, new rule. Now you have to select this format, conditional. Above average values should be say this type of color and fill should be like this. Font color should be red and it should be italic. Okay. So the above average value will show like this. See, all these are the above average values. Now we want to highlight the below average values. So new rule, above and below average values. Now below average values, and that should be border should be like this. Font should be italic. Border will be like this. Font color like this, dark. Fill is with light color. Okay, so now okay, so see, this is the below average value and above are the above average value. So it is, you can see that clear cut difference. So this is how you can use the conditional formatting. There are so many conditions are given that you can apply one by one. See, cell that contains certain rules and above below rank values that we have seen, duplicate and cell with the difference with cell to format. You can apply the formula also. So this is how you can change the color of the cell and you can highlight that font and the cell value. So this is all. Thank you friends for the from the conditional formatting. Hello friends, in this exercise we are going to learn if and nested if. First of all, we will see how to use if. If is based on the condition. So this is the marks of the employees. Now we want to write the criteria that whether the person is pass or fail. So for this we have to use the if formula. If he has passed, if his marks is greater than 50, then we have to write pass, and if not so, then he or she is failed. So this I have used here in this column. We will delete and we will use again, is equal to if now this is the marks, is if it is greater than or equal to 50, this is the condition, then only we can say he is pass, and if not so, then it will take fail, right? So it is 16 less than 50, then when he is fail. Now we will select here, and if we double click here, then automatically we will get the result of others. See here it is more than 50, then it is pass. So this is the employee's result. Okay, this is the use of if function. Now we want to use the nested if function. For this we want to give the mark grade to the marks obtained. How we want to give the grades? So suppose employee has obtained greater than 75 marks, then we can say it is A grade. Then if it is in between 50 to 75, then it is B grade. Then 25 to 50, then it is C grade. And suppose if it is the marks is less than 25, then the grade is D. So how we can do this? See here I have applied this formula. Okay, D A grade. Now I will show you how to use this. Here I will delete it and I'll write here if this is greater than 75, then it is A. If not so, then again there is a if formula. If this is greater than 50, that means it is in between 50 and 75, then it is B. Okay, then again if not so, then we'll use again if it is greater than or equal to 25, then it is C, or else to take D. Bracket close, again bracket close, and again bracket close. So in this, if it is greater than 75 but less than 50, suppose first is greater than 75, then A, then if it is in between 50 and 75, then it is B, and if it is greater than 25 but less than 50, then it will take C, and then if less than 25, then it will take D grade. So I will enter, then it is showing D grade, right? 26 is incoming, and if I double click here, then we get the grade for all. So here this all these formulas are applied in this. So this is how you can use if in if. That is called nested if. Thank you, friends. Friends, in this exercise we will be learning how to use countif and sumif function. So for this I have created one database. This is the database. In this, the name of the employees are given, then employee code, then department name, section, then position of the employee, date of birth, and basic salary of these employees. Okay. Now here the first question is count those employees who are born before 1 1 and 2001. So you have to count the employees those who are born before 1 1 and 2001. So this is the formula. Count if then in the bracket, then we have to give the range. It is asking for range, so this is the range. Okay, and then comma, then in the inverted comma you have to write the 1 1 and 2001, then it is over, comma is over, and bracket close. So the range is there and the criteria is there. See, there are 4 employees. So in this database there are 4 employees who were born before 1 1 and 2001. So you can change the date also. Suppose you want to write 10,010 employees before 2010, so you can change the year, and this 7 employees which are born before 2010. Similarly, you want to count the employees of production department. So this is the, see, this is the department total. There are 4 employees which are there in the production department. So for similarly, we have given the same formula. Range I have given. This is the range we have to select, and the criteria is production. So you will get 4 employees in production department. Okay. Now there are more than one criteria. Okay. So how to use this function? Then for that we have to use count ifs. Okay. In this, suppose we want to calculate the managers of payroll in HRM department. So there are two criteria. One is manager and the payroll. In one department is HRM department. So for this, how to calculate the employees? So this, see, I have to use count ifs. So count ifs. Okay, now it is asking for range 1 and then criteria and range 2. So first range is department, right? This is the range. Okay, then payroll. Then the second range is this one. Then manager. Okay, so first, see, there are 1 employees who are manager in payroll department, right? Payroll section. Okay, friends. Now I want to use sum if function. So what is the required some basics of HRM department? So there are 4 employees in HRM department. Now we want to sum the basics of 4 HRM employees. How we can do that? For this sum if function is used. See, I will show you how to use this function. Sum if, sum if. Then first of all is the range. Okay. This is the range. Then HRM, HRM, and the sum range. This we want to sum. Then bracket close. So this 1,07,000 rupees, right? See, this is the 1,07,000 rupees. Suppose we can sum here also, sum this 4, right? Same. Okay. Now we want to use blank count function. That is how many blanks are there in one column. So for that we have to use count blank. How we can use this? Count blank, and we have to give the range. So suppose we can from here there are 4 rows. So just we have to give the range and enter. Then it is 12. So there are 12 blanks. Okay. This is how we can use count blank. Now sum ifs. So there are more than one criteria, and we want to do the summation. Okay. So for that sum ifs are used. That is based on the condition. See, both these function is used on the condition count, but there is a condition is there. Okay. So here it is a requirement of, see, want to basics of managers of technical department. So there are two criteria. One is manager and another is technical. So how we can use this function? We will see here. Sum ifs. Sum ifs. Now first of all sum range. Now first we have to give the sum range. So this is the sum range. Then criteria range 1. criteria range 1 is technical department, so we have to select this complete department range. Then technical, technical, bracket close. Okay, and then range 2 is managers. So this is the range, and manager, bracket close. So 60,000 rupees. So here you can see the formula. First of all, the sum range, then the criteria 1 range and the criteria, then criteria 2 range and the criteria. So the summation of the two managers, there are technical managers, there are two managers are there. The salary of these two managers are 60,000 rupees. So this is how we can use the sum if and count if function based on some condition. So thank you. Hello friends, in this exercise we will learn how to protect your Excel sheet with password. Password will not allow to open and modify the data. So two password protection so that nobody can change your data and you can have a safety of your file. Okay, so how we can do that? For that you have to go to this is the Excel file. Now for this you have to go to this menu, then you go to save as. Okay, in this you will find the tools here in save as option. Now in that you have to go to general options, then here it is here you can give the password. So I am writing OM is the password to open and OM1 to modify the file or file data. Okay, now I am pressing OK. Again it is asking to enter the password or to open and to modify. So OM1. Okay, this I have given. Now you can save this file to any location. See, I am saving it in desktop in one folder, right? This is the file. Okay, now the file is now it is saved in the another folder, but it is with this password protection. You see how we will check this. Okay, now it is asking password. So what we will do is we will give the password here. So now it is open, but now we have to give the password to modify. But what we will do is we will open it for only read only mode. So now this is only in read only mode. If somebody wants to change the data here, then it will not allow to change. See see it is giving the error message that nobody can change the data of this file. This is only read only. Now if we save this file to different location and with different name, either with a different location, either with different name or with a different location, then we can save the file and alter the data. Suppose we are saving this file with a different location. Suppose we are saving it in desktop. Okay, but this is again this is with the different name, say one. Now the same file we can, yes. Okay, now I'm closing this. Now I'll go to my yes, the file. This is ON to open. Here if I line chart. Okay, so now it is allowing me to change the data, right? Now suppose you want to remove the password with the password protected file. So for that you have to go to the file. Now this is the file with protects the password protection and modification password. Here you have to go to save as menu again, then tools, general option. Here you have to remove the password. Okay, okay, and then you can save the file, replace it. So now here we have removed the password. If we open this file, see it is without password now. So friends, this is how we can protect our file. We can we can protect our data also. This is very important. Thank you. Friends, in this exercise, we will learn absolute reference and the relative reference. Okay. So for this, I have collected one data, the marks obtained by the students. Now, in this, I have divided all the marks by 100 to get the percentage. So relatively, all the percentages are calculated. So, I will show you again. C is equal to this divided by 100. This gives me 16%. Now if I click here, double click here, then I get the automatically percentage of all the students. Here it is 86%. So the data is changing. If I drag from this to this, see all this automatically it is taken E7, E8, E9, E11. This is called relative reference. Here if I apply this same, suppose this divided by the 100, that is the marks obtained, total marks. So here it is 0.16, but if I drag here, then it is giving an error. So it is taking a, after this it is taking a next cell E7 and divided by E19. So how to avoid this? So for that you have to apply a dollar sign. So this divided by 100, but here you have to type F4. So this will fix the cell. When we press F4 here, then it is, I mean this cell is fixed. If I multiply it by 100 here, then it will give us a percentage. 100, then it will give us a percentage, that is 16%. Now if I drag here, then we will get the same result as we got in relative reference. The difference is we have to fix the one cell. Okay, this is common for all. E18 is common for all. Just E7 to E16 it is changing. See, this is called relative reference. Sorry, absolute reference and relative reference. Thank you, friends. Hello friends, here we are going to learn how to create a column chart. For this we have a data available. Now from this we will create a column chart. So now first of all we have to select the data. Okay, then insert, we go to insert and then select the column chart. Now the first section, first we are selecting. So see how this is chart is created. Now you can place it here. This, now in this chart, see it shows the X and Y values and the legends. This is the January, February, March and April. See, right? Okay. Now here you can give the chart title. When you select here, you have options available: layout, design, okay, and format. Okay, when you click on the chart, these options are available. Here you can change the color of this, okay, as per your suitability. Now now let's give the chart name. Chart title you can give it here. This above chart. This is, we can say it is sales and produce data, sales and produce data. Okay, you can shift it here. This you can select sorting. Now if you want to shift this to regions and this to axis, that means you have to go to chart. First of all you have to click on the chart, then insert. Okay, now design. Now here this option is given row and column shift. So this January, February, March, April, May will appear here, and this will go to legend. See this. Okay, here you can expand it. Okay, this you can shift it here. Now if I want to select the new another different type of chart, and you can go it here, you can see this. Yeah, yes. So here it is as per the color wise the chart. Okay, data is selected based on the color. Here you can change the chart to this way. This is also another, then it is showing the 100% value of all 100% values. Now you can create the 3D chart like this. See, you can improve your presentation. Okay, now like this is looking really good. Okay, okay. Now see this. Here you can choose all the options and make your chart very beautiful so that your presentation will look very good. You can insert a text box. Okay, you can insert the picture. Hello friends, here we are going to create a pie chart. In this you have to select this option. From the data we will create for one fruit only. Here you have to select go to pie chart, then select the option first. Okay, this is the, see, this is the pie chart. Now it is created. Here you can change the data and the chart like this. In this layout you can change the percentage. See, this is the way. Okay, switch real roll and column will cannot be done. Okay, here you can select another color also. Okay, now you can go to layout. You can see the legends. So you can get the right here data labels centered. Okay, so this is the pie chart. Now you can create another type of pie chart. This is called 3D pie chart. See, again you have to select the data, pie and 3D. See, here also you can values. Now in this you can click on this part. You can drag it like this. So this will look good in your presentation. Okay. Another pie chart is, here you can select pie of pie chart. This is the pie chart. See, here there are 4 values and here it is 2 values. Here you can select this one series. Here you can increase. Okay, so here there are three values. Here you can also increase plus series 4. So see, here it is 4 and then here it is 2. Like this you can change the pie chart. Now you can shift this to a separate sheet. So for this you have to select this, move chart, new Excel sheet, and OK. So now it has gone to the new sheet. You see this is the new sheet and this chart is open. You can change everything here. You can change the font size and everything you can change here, like, so that your chart will look good. Hello friends, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to make line chart and insert trend line. This is the data collected in this time in second and resistance value in millions. This data starting from 30 milliseconds, 30 seconds to 240 seconds. Okay, this we will put into plot and then we will try to find out the value at 0 second. So for this, first of all, you have to create the chart first by selecting the data. So we what we'll do is we'll select the data and we'll insert the chart, scatter chart. Okay, and this is we are selecting. So this is type of graph is appearing. Now what we'll do is we will select the trend line and we will add the trend line from this. Okay, so now this we will select it like this. You can select any of this. Okay, and we will show the equation of the chart. Okay, so this is the chart and you can see the values are from 0 to 240 seconds. In this you can now modify the plot area. Okay, this you can do it by fill picture and text. Here you can this type of. Okay, now you can give name by inserting the text. This is the value of time. You can give here, you can give the resistance value. Okay, resistance. Okay, resistance value. Okay, now you can select the trend line and you can add data labels. Okay, so it is showing the values at the each second. Okay, now you can give a chart name also by by clicking here. Suppose if you give the name of the chart, you can give from here. This you can take it here. Chart is time versus resistance curve. Time versus resistance curve. See, this is the. See, now it is clearly visible. Okay, you can change the font also here. Also you can change the scale also. So like this way you can make the chart and add the trend line and you can get the value at the 0 seconds. Okay, thank you friends. Hello friends, in this exercise we learn how to use pivot table. Pivot table is very powerful tool that allows you to do the analysis of data very quickly. Now for this is the data I have collected. For this you have to go to insert and the pivot table. So okay, now the table we have to select here. This is the table I have selected and say enter and select new worksheet. So in this new worksheet, this this is created based because of the data. Now you have to select this and this. So the department wise, the sum of basic is selected, calculated, and the total sum is also done very quickly. Now if you want to add the name, so the in HRM department this many employees are there and the basic of this is the basic of each employees and the total sum of basic is also given. See, total grand total is also calculated automatically, and you see each department and name person name is there, and the basic is also calculated very quickly. Suppose you want to see manage the position also. So like this way, it shows the position also, right? Now you want to create a pivot chart. So for this you have to go to this, you have to select this. So you can get the pivot chart for this pivot table also, like all the HRM department. And here here you can change whatever data you want. Suppose you add this section, then you can see the section is added, okay, and the chart is modified also. So like this way you can analyze the data very quickly in pivot table. So this is all for pivot table. Thank you friends. In this exercise we will learn how to freeze pens. See, this is the data table. Now we want to freeze this header. Then what we have to do is we have to select the next row. Okay, you have to select the next row and go to freeze pens. Okay, this is the freeze pens. You go and then you have to select freeze pens. So the data above this is freezed. You can see if you go down, scroll down, then you can see the data more effectively. So now you can unfreeze it. Suppose you want to freeze this first column, so you have to select the next column and go to freeze pens. So this name column is fixed. So you can go like this. See, the name column is fixed. So column column up to this name is all are fixed. So this is how you can fix freeze the pans to analyze the data effectively. Thank you. Hello friends. In this exercise, we are going to learn about format painter and paste link. So this is the data I have collected, and we want to apply a format painter in this data. How we can apply this we'll learn here. Suppose this cell I have selected, and I select this format painter and I click here. See the background color, underline, everything will painted here. Suppose I want to do this in total header. So this I have to copy here. If I click here, then automatically this is done for the all. Similarly, if I do it for this, okay, format printer, click here, quickly done for this. Suppose if I do it for all, if I click here, so this is done for all. Suppose I do it, undo it, and with one click I can do it for all data. So take Control Z. Okay. Now if I select this complete data and I select Format Painter and I click here, sorry, click here. See, it is done for all. So this is how we can use the Format Painter. Now how to use paste link. Now if I copy this data here, Control C, and here if I use paste link by paste special, see this is there is option of paste link in paste special. If I paste this data here, okay, and if I change the basics of this person, say I make it 45,000, then automatically the basic of this is changing here because the data is linked with this data. It is pasted, but it is linked. Same thing I can do with another Excel sheet. Suppose I copy this data, to paste special. Suppose I copy all this data. So I copy this data to another Excel, Control C, and another file that is paste special and the paste link. Okay. So now I save this file and close it. Now if I suppose I change here total to 54,000, then the data is changed here, and if I open that file that is closed now, see the data is changed to 54,000. So this is called a pasting, linked pasting. So because the data is linked to this file. Okay. So this is all from paste link and format printer. Thank you. Hello friends, in this exercise we will learn sorting. For this I have collected one data bank, name of the employee, employee code, section, department, position, date of birth and basic. Now if you see in the data there is a sorting is given, this icon is given in sort, icon is given. Here you can click on this basic support and we want to sort A to Z in ascending order, then you can click this data in ascending order. So smallest is at first and the highest is at the bottom. Now we want to this to descending order, so that highest at the top and lowest at the bottom. Similarly, in the name, suppose you want to sort from A to Z, see A, D, J, then S is at the last. Similarly, in the reverse is also possible. And this also you can do the sorting. Okay. So suppose here I do Z to A. Okay. This is called sorting from A to Z or Z to A. Now we want to see how to do custom sorting. So for this you have to select anywhere in the database, go to sorting. Now here sort by, that is called basic. We will do it by department. Okay, that should be A to Z. Okay, now add another level of sorting. Then you can do it by say section. Okay, if you want one more sorting, then you can add here, or you can delete also. Okay, now we will sort this by department and section. If we say okay, then see automatically the department, it is sorted by department, and in section also it is sorted from A to Z. This is how we can do this custom sorting and the normal sorting. Thank you, friends.